Hi, and welcome to That's Ruddy Mysterious, a podcast of short tales about true mysteries. What happened to the Flannan Isles Lightkeepers? Who was responsible for the Gardner Museum heist? I'm not going to solve those mysteries, but they'll be interesting to learn about. I'm your host, Kelly with an I. Transcripts for all episodes can be found at that'sruddymysterious.wordpress.com. No apostrophe and no exclamation point. Today's tale is about the Overtoun Bridge in Dumbarton, West Dunbartonshire, Scotland. It may contain some upsetting details. On the north bank of the River Clyde in Scotland sits a town by the name of Dumbarton. Dunbarton is northwest of Glasgow and is home to nearly 20,500 people. In Dunbarton, on the road toward Overtoun House, sits a Scottish baronial-style bridge. The bridge is built 33 years after the house, commissioned by John Campbell White, the son of James White, who had the house built. H.E. Milner designed the Overtoun Bridge in 1895, and it took a year to complete. It spans a total of 135 feet and spans Overtoun Burn. Overtoun Bridge was made of white freestone with 18-inch thick stone parapets. There are 3 archways that span the burn. The center is 32 feet long, and each side archway is 10 feet. The bridge is 14 feet wide with a 50-foot drop to the jagged rocks below. Some people report feelings of impending doom while crossing the bridge. Lottie McKinnon will never forget her run-in with Overtoun Bridge. She told the New York Times about her border collie Bonnie jumping from the bridge. Something overcame Bonnie as soon as we approached the bridge. At first she froze, but then she became possessed by a strange energy and ran and jumped right off the parapet. Bonnie survived her jump, but many other dogs are not so lucky. Beginning in the 1950s, hundreds of dogs have jumped off Overtoun Bridge. Local researchers say more than 300 dogs have jumped from the bridge, while tabloids put the number at greater than 600. There are at least 50 reports of these dogs succumbing to their wounds. In 2004, Kenneth Meikle's golden retriever bolted and jumped off the side of Overtoun Bridge. Kenneth said his dog survived but was traumatized. Alice Trevorrow brought her Springer Spaniel to Overtoun Bridge for a walk in 2014. She described the events that followed. I had parked up, and as she is so obedient, I didn't put her lead on. Me and my son walked toward Cassie, who was staring at something above the bridge. She definitely saw something that made her jump. There's something sinister going on. It was so out of character for her. One story tells of a dog that jumped from the bridge, survived the fall, and went back up only to jump again. There's even one case of a person throwing an infant off the bridge in 1994. The man who did it was found not guilty of attempted murder by reason of insanity and tried to suicide twice unsuccessfully. The dogs that jump off the bridge always seem to jump from the same spot where he was standing when he threw the child. The current owners of Overtoun House have watched several dogs jump off the bridge. Mr. Hill thinks the smell of animals in the gorge drive dogs into a frenzy, which in turn causes them to break free of leashes and jump from the bridge. He said, "The dogs catch the scent of mink, pine martens, or some other mammal, and then they will jump up on the wall of the bridge, and because it's tapered, they will just topple over." No one is exactly sure what causes dogs to jump from the bridge. There are a few things in common in each of these stories, though. All of the dogs that have jumped from the bridge are long-nosed dogs with good senses of smell. They only jump on clear days. In 2010, animal behaviorist David Sands tried to get to the bottom of this mystery. He said that dogs aren't capable of suiciding themselves, although other animals are. He believes a combination of factors are causing dogs to jump. He thinks that the foliage belying the underlying terrain combined with attractive animal scents in the gorge makes the dogs jump. Mink nest in the burn below, and these long-nosed dogs seem to be more strongly attracted to mink than any other prey animal. He says he doesn't believe the dogs are seeing anything that makes them jump because they wouldn't be able to see over the edge of the bridge. Despite all this, he says that there was a strange feeling on the bridge, especially where the dogs jumped from. What causes dogs to jump off the Overtoun Bridge? Some believe that the tops of the trees in the burn make it appear as though the top of the bridge is even with the ground hiding the burn. This area of Scotland has a lot of people that are very superstitious. Some of them believe the bridge is a thin place, or a place where heaven and earth overlap. They believe that this is why dogs jump. Paul Owens, a religious and philosophy teacher in Glasgow, wrote a book about Overtoun Bridge in which he claims ghosts are behind the dog's actions. Some believe the White Lady, or the ghost of Lady Overtoun, John Campbell White's wife, makes dogs jump. John Campbell Overtoun died in 1908, but Lady Overtoun outlived him by around 30 years. They say her ghost is pining for her husband. Some believe that the dogs are jumping to save the infant who was thrown from the bridge. Others still believe that the wind rushing through nearby Faslane Bay creates a frequency that only dogs can hear, and which drives them into a frenzy. This theory was tested and it was determined not to be true. Whatever may be causing dogs to jump off Overtoun Bridge, it's still a very common dog walking spot. Some do avoid it altogether, however. Why do dogs jump off Overtoun Bridge? Is a ghost making them jump? Is it related to scents in the burn below? What do you think? If you're listening on Spotify, scroll down and let me know what you think. Thanks for listening to today's episode of That's Ruddy Mysterious. I'm your host, Kelly with an I. If you enjoyed this episode, leave a review and follow That's Ruddy Mysterious to be updated about new episodes. Tune in next Tuesday for another thought-provoking tale.